Now this is very simple. See, in the question it is specifically mentioned that prepare the journal entries in the books of AB. So by this statement we come to know that this is the second method in the books of each co-venturer. Here we have to record the journal entries in the ledger accounts in the books of each co-venturer. But in the question they have just said journal entries, so we'll prepare only journal entries. Alright, so the first entry would be of this AB supplying goods to the joint venture worth 50,000. AB supplied 50,000 worth of goods to joint venture. So the entry would be joint venture account debit, joint venture account debit, because expense is increasing. So whenever expense increases, you have to debit the joint venture account. Yeah, and then to purchase account. Now why are we taking purchase account instead of AB's account? Because AB supplied those goods, right? AB was the co-venturer, so the co-venturer account was supposed to come over here. It was supposed to come joint venture account debit to co-venturer account, but here purchase account is coming. That is because we are preparing the journal entries in the books of AB, so we cannot take AB's account in his books. Okay, we cannot take AB's account in his own books, so we have to take purchase account because AB had to purchase those goods and then he supplied those goods to the joint venture. Okay, so the first entry is joint venture account debit to purchase account, 50,000 50,000. Simple. All right, then what happened? Then AB made some expenses of 5,400 for the joint venture. So AB incurred some expenses for the joint venture, and now we come to know that the expenses are increasing. So whenever expense increases, you have to debit the joint venture because those expenses were incurred for joint venture, and whenever expense increases, joint venture will be debited. Okay, joint venture account will be debited, and then the cash was being paid by the AB, right? Cash was being paid by the AB, so to cash account. Actually here it was supposed to come, here AB was supposed to come, okay, to AB, but since we cannot take AB's account in the books of AB, the same thing purchase account, so we have to take cash account because cash was paid, right, from AB, so we have to take cash account. Cash is going out, so joint venture account debit to cash. Cash was paid for those expenses, right, by AB. Actually AB was supposed to come, okay, but we cannot take AB because we are preparing the journal entries in the books of AB itself, so we cannot take AB's account, so we have to take to cash account. It's simple. Joint venture account debit, expense increasing, cash is going out to cash account, 5,400 5,400. Simple, right? Okay, and then what happened? And then in the third entry you see the ex-wife, he also supplied some goods to the joint venture. He supplied 14,000 worth of goods to the joint venture. So due to this supply, what happened? Due to this supply, the expense of joint venture account increased because at last joint venture has to pay to XY. Joint venture has to pay back to XY more. Yes, 14,000 more. So that is an expense. So joint venture account expense increased. So you have to debit the joint venture account. Okay, 14,000. And why you have credited to ex-wife account? See, that is because these goods were supplied by the ex-wife, the co-venturer, so his capital account is increasing, so that will be credited. XY account will be credited because XY supplied those goods. So joint venture account expense is increasing, debit, and then the capital account is increasing, or you can also say these goods were supplied by XY, so XY account is getting credited. Simple, right? Joint venture account debit to XY account. And then what happened? And then this XY, this co-venturer, also incurred some expenses of rupees 800. So the expense of joint venture increased. So when the expense of joint venture increases, you have to debit the joint venture account, that you know, right? So joint venture account debit to XY account. Why to XY account? That is because this expense was incurred by this co-venturer XY, so you have to credit XY account. Simple. Okay, simple, right? Okay. And then this XY co-venturer also sold the goods for 92,000. He sold all the goods for 92,000. Now what is sales? Sales is revenue. It is income. When you do sales, you get money, you get income. So when sales happen, revenue or income is increased. So whenever revenue or income increases, what you need to do? You need to credit the joint venture account. I told you, right, in the previous YouTube video, that problem 1 of joint venture, that joint venture is similar to trading and profit and loss account. Whenever expense increases, you have to debit. Whenever income increases or revenue increases, you have to credit, right? You have to credit joint venture account. So now income or revenue is increasing, so you have to credit the joint venture account. And then who sold these goods? These goods were sold by XY, so his account will get debited. Okay, 92,000. Simple, right? Who sold these goods? These goods were sold by XY, so his account will get debited and joint venture account will get credited because of increase in revenue. And then this XY also got commission. He also got commission. Now that commission is an expense for joint venture, isn't it? Joint venture has to pay to XY, so expense is increasing. So whenever expense increases, you have to debit the joint venture account. 4,600 I've calculated, okay, on this 92,000 I've calculated into 5%. It said in the question 5%, so 92,000 into 5%, which is equal to 4,600. So joint venture account debit 4,600, and then this commission was paid to XY, so to XY's account 4,600. It is very simple. Expenses increase in debit, and then to whom it is paid? It is paid to XY. All right, so to XY's account 4,600. And now everything is over, right? See, this entry is over. Supply of ABs and then expense of AB, that is also over, and then supply of XY entry is also over, expense of XY entry is also over, and then sales entry and then commission entry, everything is over. Now you need to find out the profit. So now how to find out the profit? See, it is very simple. See, joint venture account. See, how did I find this profit? So it is very simple to find the profit. I told you, right? You have to compare these two columns, debit column of joint venture and credit column of joint venture. See here, joint venture 50,000 is debited. Okay, now joint venture account is similar to trading and profit and loss account. The debit side shows all the expenses and credit side shows all the revenues or income. So if credit side is high, if credit side is more, then it is profit. If debit side is more, then it is loss. More expense means loss, right? Okay, so here you have to compare. See, joint venture account is debited by 50,000, then 5,400. So 50,000 plus 5,000, 55,000 plus this 10,000, that is equal to 60,000. Then add 4,000, so that is 64,000. 64,000 plus 400, that is 64,400, and then add this 800, then it is equal to how much? 65,200, I think. Yeah, so then add all these debit values of joint venture and then subtract it with the credit value of joint venture. See, the credit value is 92,000. Only one credit of joint venture is there, so subtract these two, then you will get the profit. Okay, you will get the profit. See, one more joint venture is there over here, 4,600, so add that also with the debit column. So 50,000, 5,000, 14,000, and then 4,600 and this 800. So by adding all these debit columns, okay, by adding all these debit amounts, you will get an amount, subtract it with the credit amount, then you will get the profit. See, credit is more, okay, credit is more, so the value which I got is 17,200. So then you have to distribute the 17,200 among these two co-venturers. All right, among these two co-venturers. And since you cannot take AB's name, AB's account in the books of AB, so what you have to do, you have to take profit and loss over here. Okay, profit and loss account, profit of AB will go to profit and loss account. Okay, and then XY account, the remaining profit will go to XY, that is in the ratio, okay, 4:1. Simple. So this is the entry. Now why joint venture account is being debited? Because there is a shortage of amount in the debit side, right? So I have taken debit side. Okay, joint venture account debit to profit and loss account. This is AB's profit and this is XY's profit. Simple. So this was the profit entry. And then at last in the question it is said that XY settled his account with the payment of draft. So now we have to find out the balance in the XY account. We have to find out the balance in the XY account. Now how to do that? See, it is very simple. You just have to compare the debit column and the credit column. You have to compare all the credit amount and all the debit amount of XY. See, start with the debit amount. See, XY is being debited only once by 92,000. Yes, so debit side take 92,000. all right, debit side take 92,000. This by rough, okay, I'm explaining it to you. 92,000, and then find out the credits. See, the first credit is over here, 14,000, so I took that. Okay, I took that 14,000, and then you see over here there is one more credit over here, XY account 800, so take that 800. Okay, and then there is one more credit over here, XY's account 4,600, so 4,600, I took that. And then at last there is profit also, right? So to XY's account that is also being credited 3,440, so take that 3,440. Yes, now compare which side is bigger. This side is bigger, so 92,000, just by rough I'm explaining this. Okay, 92,000. Now subtract this 92,000 with all these amounts. See, okay, 92,000 the first is 14,000, yeah, minus 14,000, and then 800, so subtract 800, and then 4,600, subtract all these, okay, 4,600, right, 4,600, and then subtract the 3440, that was the profit, that was also credited, right, 3440, so subtract that, you get 69,160. So now 69,160 is the balance left in the XY account. Now this money has to be paid to AB. This money has to be paid to AB. All right, so it will be, the entry will be bank account. The money is coming into the AB. All right, AB is getting the money. So bank account debit 69,160. Before I made a mistake, okay, that's why I have cut this. So 69,160, okay, bank account debit 69,160, cash is coming in, bank account is increasing, 69,160 to ex-wife. Okay, the cash is coming from ex-wife, ex-wife is making the payment, so to ex-wife account 69,160, that is the balance from over here. Okay, 69,160, 69,160. You understood, right? So it's very simple. You just have to find out the balance of ex-wife, and then if there is this balance, if the credit side is shorter, then it means ex-wife has to pay. If debit side is shorter, then ex-wife is going to receive. But here credit side was shorter, that means he has to pay, so he will pay. And bank account, the AB will get it, AB will receive the money. Alright, so bank account is debited. Now here it will be same, okay, and it has to be same, okay, bank account, and here also, see, this is cash account, I have taken over here cash account. No, we have to take same. If you have taken cash over here, you also have to take cash over here. So I will make this bank account, okay, I will make this bank account because everything has to be similar. So bank account, bank account. All right, so this is how you have to solve this problem.